Hi, it's me, Jemmy. Welcome back. So today I thought that we could review the studio tour and my final thoughts now that it's been a few days and had some more time to contemplate things, as well as eat the desserts and sweets that I have brought back from the Harry Potter studio tour. So when you go there, you can buy these chocolate frogs. I'm sure everybody knows chocolate frogs from the movies. So the ones in Warner Brothers Studios, when I went to the Harry Potter world a long time ago in Los Angeles, they had them that were like half the size. They were much smaller. So I was quite surprised to see them this big. But the box design and everything is the same. When you open it, just like that. But the frog is quite large. So I actually used a knife, because I've had it out just at room temperature, so I used a knife and a cutting board, cut it into smaller pieces so that way we could, me and my husband could enjoy it equally. And so here we go, this is what it looks like. It comes in this plastic bag. So, looks like, because there's only like 10 cards I think you can get. So, I did already have a couple of cards. I had Ollivander, like a rectangle actual card, and then I have a Godric Gryffindor card that is the smaller size that was in the original Chocolate Frog one. So, me being a Gryffindor, the first chocolate frog card I get, of course, has to be Godric Gryffindor. So I got two, but unfortunately they were both Albus Dumbledore. So if you have watched the movie, the back detail is actually different than what they say in the movie. Because it says that, on this one, I'll read it for you. It says, brilliant and often controversial headmaster of Hogwarts, the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, Albus Dumbledore is most famous for his 1945 defeat of Grindelwald and his steadfast championing of Harry Potter, the Boy Who Lived. Dumbledore's self-proclaimed proudest achievement, however, was featured on a famous wizard chocolate frog card. So that's these. But if you watch the movies, it also would talk about his work with Nicholas Flamel and the 12 Cures for Dragon Blood, which is not included on these cards. So that is different than the actual movie cards that they did use for Harry Potter, if you did watch or read the first book. That would have been different. So I did bring my little Niffler friend here today to judge with us. He says hello. So you can also get these at the store. I showed them in my other video, but it's very cute, so I just wanted it, to kind of be here today. Put it over here. You can kind of see it in the background. Stay. There we go. Finally got it to stay. So I'll put my chocolate frog back in there. I will save the other one for a later date, but it was really good. The chocolate, it didn't taste like a cheap chocolate. It tasted like a pretty good, decent quality chocolate. Especially since for the larger chocolate frogs, you're paying like $9–10 for these. They did have a box of chocolate frogs that you could get, and when you open them, the chocolate frogs were like this big, quite small. I don't know if that had the card in it. I have never bought that one before, but overall it tasted good. I would recommend it if you enjoy it. It's like a one-time thing or something. So you also do get, when you go to the Chocolate Frog Cafe, when you get the Niffler cake, you also get some chocolate coins with them. I took them home and tried them, and they do taste like the same chocolate that they used for the chocolate frogs. So I think maybe it's just the same, but they weren't the Harry Potter galleons. They were just like British coins. I had Princess Diana on it, but yeah, good chocolate. So it was good for the price. So we also had some cupcakes. We got one of each of them. You can take home a set of 5. They will only sell them to you after the tour. They do not sell them before, and they won't let you bring them in the tour. So that is something to think about if you are wanting to purchase them. Make sure that you don't wait last minute to book your ticket for a later time. Otherwise, you may not be able to get the cupcakes to take home. So the 5 cupcakes that they had, I will insert a picture later on in the video so that you can see what they kind of look like. So they have 5 cupcakes that you can get, or you can buy them individually or a set of 2. So they have a Gryffindor one, a Hufflepuff one, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. And then they had a chocolate frog cupcake. So the chocolate frog cupcake was really good. The chocolate was a nice thick chocolate. Good taste. And then inside the chocolate frog at the top, under the frosting, was a little bit of fruit filling. I think it was raspberry. It was quite good, but it was a little bit thicker. So you might want to have some milk with it as compared to the other cupcakes. The next one we'll talk about is Slytherin. So when you get the cupcakes, they each have a little flag. So Slytherin one is actually green tea flavored, so matcha flavored. The top is like a vanilla-y kind of frosting. It's a pretty good combination, but if you don't like matcha, unfortunately, you probably wouldn't like the Slytherin cupcake. I thought it tasted fine. Out of all the cupcakes I had, I would have put it somewhere in the middle. It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad either. So I would give that maybe like 5 out of 10. The chocolate one, I would give that probably a 6 out of 10. But I like chocolate more than green tea. So the next one we'll talk about, let's talk about the Hufflepuff one. So Hufflepuff. So the cupcake that you would get is I think it is a pumpkin chocolate chip cupcake with pumpkin frosting. The frosting is yellow as well as cupcake. This was my least favorite. The cupcake was kind of dry itself. We did actually wait the next day to eat them, so that could have also been a factor in it, but it was a little bit dense and dry compared to the other ones. The other ones didn't taste as dry, so that makes me think that maybe it's the ingredients that they choose to make the cupcake with rather than the actual cupcake itself. But I mean, the frosting did taste good. It was just a drier cupcake. But if you do like pumpkin spice, then this would be the cupcake for you, because this is very pumpkin spicy, chocolate chippy, so it had a good autumn feel to it. So if that's what you're into, then you would love the Hufflepuff cupcake, and I would recommend it for that. So the next cupcake, let's talk about Gryffindor. This is my house right there. Okay, so the Gryffindor one, I believe, was a strawberry cupcake with I think it's strawberry frosting on it. It's red frosting. They have the yellow sprinkles on it. So I did like it. There was some kind of fruit in it. I'm not sure if it was pineapple or apricot or something, but there was some kind of fruit pieces in the cupcake itself. It was good. This was my second favorite out of all 5 that we had. It was almost the top, but it wasn't quite there. The cupcake was fruity and sweet, not too dense, not too dry, so it was a good balanced cupcake. That's kind of cupcake that you like to have. The frosting for the Gryffindor cupcake was really, really good, and I would just want to eat a bucket of frosting, so it was delicious. The last one we have is the Ravenclaw one. So this was actually my favorite. This was a blueberry cupcake, and on top it had kind of like a cream cheesy frosting. It tasted delicious. It kind of reminded me of having like a sweet blueberry bagel. It was delicious. I would recommend this one for anybody who loves blueberries. So it was very good. Ravenclaw, then Gryffindor, then the chocolate one, then Slytherin, then Hufflepuff. That is my ranking for the cupcakes. Okay, so let's talk about the donuts, because they have donuts. There's 4 of them that you can take back, 1 for each of the houses. They do give you a little, it's like a sorting hat sleeve that you can put them in. So these ones, we also ate these days later, and it could have affected the taste a little bit, but overall, the taste for the cupcakes was really good. There was a good amount of flavor, but the donuts, the taste was really, really thin. It didn't have like a super strong flavor. Like, I think the Hufflepuff one might have been lemon for the icing flavor, but the donut was just a plain donut, no glaze, no flavor at all. So it's just a plain donut with the Hufflepuff glaze, and I think it was lemon, but it wasn't like lemon. It was just like, is it lemon? Maybe. So I think that the only difference is the Hufflepuff was like a lemony icing flavor, whereas the cupcake frosting and the cupcake one was a pumpkin flavor. Now, if the donut had also been pumpkin flavored, it might have had a stronger taste. It might have tasted better, but that was my least favorite donut. The next donut we're going to talk about is the Slytherin donut. So again, the Slytherin one was green tea, the matcha green tea flavored icing. So if you don't like green tea, you will not like this donut. This one did have a stronger taste of matcha than the lemon one did for the Hufflepuff donut. But if you're not into matcha, then you wouldn't like the Slytherin one. So even if you're a Slytherin, I wouldn't recommend getting that donut if you don't like matcha, because it would just be a waste of money for you. So the other 2, let's talk about them. We have Gryffindor, I believe again that was strawberry, and then Ravenclaw, which I believe was a blueberry iced donut. So out of these 2, again, my favorite would have probably been the Ravenclaw one with the blueberry. It had they were both very subtle tastes, but like the Hufflepuff one, for Gryffindor, you couldn't really tell that the Gryffindor one was strawberry. It was like, is this strawberry? I think so. Let's go with strawberry. And then the blueberry one had a little bit more of a pronounced taste. That's why I think that would be my favorite out of all of them. So if you're gonna get a donut, that might be the top 2 to go for. But if you wanted to get your house donut, go ahead and get it. But those are just the flavors that they come with. Again, at the cafe, they have other cakes and other sweets and other options that you can get. Those are the 2 that you can get to take home. We did get them, try them. So for the cupcakes, for a set of 5, it is about just over 3,000 yen. So approximately about $30 or so, $25, $30, depending on the exchange rate, if you wanted to get the cupcakes. For the donuts, I believe that's about 1,500 yen, so that is quite a price difference for the 4 donuts. But if I had my choice, I would have rather just gone to like a Dunkin' Donuts, or in Japan they have what they call Mr. Donuts or Krispy Kreme, and just get a regular donut instead, and it would have had a much better taste, donut wise. So other things that I feel that we should mention, since we are reviewing a few days later. One thing you are going to want to wear is you're definitely going to want to wear comfortable shoes. You will do a lot of walking. This tour is about 4 hours if you're walking at a normal pace. You can go faster, you can go a little bit slower and take your time, but again, it is about a 4-hour walk inside the tour, not including outside the tour to look at the restaurants, to look at the gift shop. So it is quite a bit of walking. So that is something you want to have. Make sure you don't wear heels or brand new shoes. You want to have comfortable shoes, easy to move in, things that your feet won't necessarily get tired in. So that's just something to think about when you go. Another thing to think about when you go is you want to bring a battery pack. You'll probably end up taking a lot of pictures. Most of the areas in this tour are photo friendly and video friendly, so you can take as many videos as you want, as many photos as you want. There are certain areas and certain things that you cannot take photos of. They do tell you that you can't take photos or videos of certain things when you're there. But generally you can take photos for most of them, so you would probably want to bring a battery pack unless you're using a separate camera. So I was lucky I had a battery pack on me, and it made it so that I was able to use my phone until I got back to my house. It didn't charge very well, so we only made it to 50%, but I was able to use it. So I was glad that I had that small little battery pack with me, so I'm sure that you would also feel the same. Okay, so now that we talked about the couple of essential things, another thing that you may want to think about bringing with you is a suitcase or a bag with your costume or clothing if you are planning on changing your clothes. Some people like to dress up when they go on the tour, so if you're traveling on the train or a lot, and depending on the weather outside, it could be really hot, or you could get your clothes dirty. Train stations tend to have a lot of people and they'll bump into you, so that is something you want to think about. The trains aren't terribly dirty, but when there's a lot of people, you could get your nice Harry Potter clothes dirty. So a lot of people in Japan tend to bring like a suitcase, and when they get there they'll open their suitcase and put their costumes and stuff on. So that is something that you would want to think about, is to have a small bag or like a suitcase with your costume in it. They do have a cloak check, like I said in my other video, so you can use that for free. Just check your bag, and then you don't have to worry about carrying the suitcase or the bag with your costume in it while you're on the tour. Another one you could do is before you go on the tour, if you go shopping, you can also have that checked as well. So that is just something you would want to think about before heading over to the tour. Okay, great. So that was just like the final recap kind of review on the Harry Potter tour. I do plan on going to it again. It was super fun. It was easily accessible even with the stroller. I did see a few wheelchairs in there, so it's pretty handicap accessible. It had a lot of English references and things in there to make it easier for foreigners to understand. So they had like Japanese subtitles on the English videos and English subtitles on the Japanese videos, so it was very nice. Some of the staff probably know English a little bit, but most of them will just primarily speak Japanese, I think. So if you are not sure, you may also want to bring a translator, like a pocket dictionary or something like that. But English could probably generally be like explained or, you know, understandable, I think, to them. Just simple English. If you know, you could get your point across that way, it would probably get the job done. Okay, so thank you for coming for this video. I hope to see you in the next video.